Hi, my name is Rob Faber and I'm a channel manager for the Ricoh Dynamic Capture Group. This video will show you how to load and use the list edit software that's included with your G700 series camera. This software is used to create template files called MTA files that are stored on your camera and provide instructions to the camera that are used when displaying the data entry screens to the camera operators. We're going to show you how to install the software, how to use it, how to load the files you create into the camera, and what the camera does with the files. The MTA files reside on the camera internal or SD card memory in a folder called Templates. The camera can contain as many MTA files as needed, space permitting. The template files will enable the camera to present operators with custom looks to enable a good fit into many workflows. All of this starts with installing the List Edit software. List Edit is included as part of the Ricoh G700 software CD. It is installed as part of the default packages. That is to say, if you have loaded the CD and run the installation package, you should have the List Edit software loaded. If you need to install it and do not have access to a CD, you can find a zipped CD file on our website. To launch the utility, click Start and look for the DC software folder. You should see the List Edit utility. Before we get too far into the List Edit software, let's talk about the prerequisites. You will need a G700 or 500 series Ricoh Dynamic Capture Camera. It is preferred that you install an SD card. The camera's storage, both internal and external, must have certain folders present to enable the features. In particular, these files produced by List Edit and needed to enable the data functions must reside in the Templates folder off of the root on the SD card or internal memory. The List Edit utility must also be able to see this folder when the camera is connected to the PC via a USB cable. This will allow the utility to automatically deposit the MTA files in the correct location. We'll talk more on that later. Let's connect the camera to the PC via a USB cable. You will see a message appear indicating the camera is connecting. This is normal and indicates the camera is ready to transfer files. Your PC should also see the camera as a flash drive, represented here by drive G. Next, let's go back to the List Edit utility. Briefly, I'll review some of the menu items and buttons. The New, Open, and Save icons are pretty normal in a Windows environment and function as expected, as do the Cut, Copy, and Paste buttons, although they are only available when text is selected. This last button is the Transfer to Camera button and provides an easy way to install the newly created template on a connected camera. In the Menu section, there is a selection titled Number of Items. This provides the user a choice between 5, 10, and 20 custom data points. This is provided as backward compatibility to the 500 series camera that could only store 5 or 10 depending on the firmware and the age of the unit. When building a template for the G700 series, you should always try to select 20 items. This does not represent 20 items to the camera operator, but instead only allows the MTA designer the option to create up to 20 items. Another important menu item is the Save As choice. It is important to note that the MTA file will be named based on the file name chosen here. The name will be truncated to 6 characters if it's over 8 characters in length, so try to be brief in the descriptions. Let's name this new MTA right away and save it to my PC. This will provide a backup copy of the MTA file and provide an alternate method of distribution when you don't have the camera readily available. You can simply email the file to a camera operator and they can copy it into the template folder. For that matter, if you have trouble with the transfer button, you can also simply save directly to the camera. Just remember that you need to also save a copy on your PC, or the only copy will be on the camera. The utility contains 2 main sections. The left side is the item name or the name of the data point. This will be presented to the camera operator in an area to the left of the space where the data is contained. A new name is entered in the box above the list, and when Enter is pressed, or the Update button is clicked, that name will populate the highlighted data space below. While you can always change the name, this utility does not provide functionality to alter the position of the new item name. That is, what is in space 1 cannot be dragged or moved to space 2. You must re-enter the information in each. There is an alternate method of editing the MTA file that I'll cover at the end of this video. It makes moving the items possible. Let's enter ID as the first item name or memo name. In this case, we are expecting this first item, also considered the primary index, to be a barcode scan, and thus we don't need anything else in the list section. For the second name, we'll click the item to area to highlight it and enter location as the name. For the second data point, we want the camera operator to be presented with a series of choices for the data point titled location. Because this is a preset list of data, we're going to enter these choices as a library list. We accomplish this by using the second section of the List Edit utility located on the right side. This section is titled Details and is used much in the same fashion as the item name. You enter the contents of the list by typing the choice in the input box. You can then press Enter or click the Add button, and the item is placed below in the input list box. Each time you add a new item, it is added to the bottom of the list. Unlike the item name, the list order can be edited by selecting the item and using the up or down button to move the item. Additionally, you can edit the item or delete it altogether if needed. To enter a third name, we again click the left side over the third item area and type the name of the third data point. As with the previous item, we will enter a series of choices in the list area. Once again, I will enter a fourth and fifth item name. We leave the fourth input list blank to represent another barcode, scanned item, or perhaps a catch-all data point that can be edited from the camera keyboard and created on the camera. One note, the camera can scan barcodes into the first 4 data points only. For this demonstration, we will say that the fifth data point is a constant, one that we want all images to have. Say the name of the company or a branch identification. We can accomplish this by creating an input list and ensuring that the desired constant data is at the top spot. This is the default data that the camera will attach to all images using this MTA file. This is true for all items, not just the current fifth data point here. In my demonstration workflow, I'm going to enter all the branch identifiers on this MTA and select East Branch as the first data point because this is the East Branch MTA file and I want East to be the default value. When I create the other branches, West, North, or South, I'll simply move that choice to the top of the list, and then I only have to change the name of the MTA file when I select Save As to create all 4 versions, one for each branch. Because I have already named this East Branch, I will click the Save button to ensure all changes have been saved locally to my PC. Here, I can see that my camera is connected to the G drive, and I could now save the file to the camera using the Save As dialog. For this demonstration, however, I'll use the Transfer to Camera button instead. As mentioned before, you or someone in a remote location could also simply copy the MTA file from, say, an email, for instance, directly to the camera flash drive without even using the list utility. When the camera is empty and the first MTA file is copied to it, the camera will default to that MTA. In this case, my camera has several MTA files already loaded, and I need to switch to the file we just created. We do this by pressing the DISP or display button on the back of the camera while the camera is in data mode. Data mode is entered by pressing the Adjust Memo button on the top left on the back of the camera. The camera will not enter data mode unless there is an MTA file present in the templates directory. Here is the camera screen showing the new template. Here are the lists as presented to the camera operator. Notice the data points that have lists default to the first choice item as opposed to the not specified message displayed on the first and fourth items. They're waiting for an entry by the operator. I indicated earlier that there was a way to arrange the data names if you find that they're in the wrong order and you don't want to re-enter all the list items. This is done by editing the MTA file directly using Notepad or a suitable editor. Here is the MTA file we were working on. You can see the list items under each of the item names. To change the order while preserving the respective lists, you simply highlight, cut, and paste the sections into the desired order. You must make sure the structure remains in the correct order. Item 1 still has to be before item 2. Always save this file before attempting to edit it directly. Thank you for using Ricoh's Dynamic Capture solution. Please check back regularly for more quick look videos. We are trying to create a library of these to cover each area of the camera. If you have any additional questions, please contact your reseller or Ricoh directly via our website at ricohdc.com.